How we doing, guys?
Good. What was the organization's rationale for making the trade for Amari Cooper, and what are your expectations for what he'll be able to contribute immediately?
We just feel like he's a really good player. He was a top 5 pick coming out of Alabama a few years ago. Had a great career there. By all accounts, from everybody we know at Alabama, one of the best players they've had there, one of the best people they've had there. Goes to Oakland, is very productive early on in his career. So the combination of his physical ability, his production at this level, and the kind of guy he is at a position we feel like we need to add some firepower. He's 24 years old, has a bright future, goes about it the right way, feels like he fits into our culture of our team, the kind of guys we want to have, the cornerstone players we've built here over the last few years.
What gives you confidence that he can have that same production he had early on?
Just what we've seen on tape and from what we know about him, from people who have been around him both at the college level and the NFL level.
Why did you not add that type of firepower earlier? I mean, is it a mission that this receiver by committee approach didn't work here?
Yeah, we had an opportunity to add a player to our football team that we think could help us, and that's a 365-day out of the year job at every position on our team. Conversations go on between our personnel people and personnel people all around the league about players who are available, and I'm not directly involved in those conversations, but Stephen Jones and Will McClay are constantly talking to teams about players. And we had an opportunity to visit with the Raiders about Amari Cooper, and we felt like he fit for us, and we're excited about what he can do for our team now and in the future.
Was there something about the Washington game that was a tipping point for that?
No, these conversations started prior to that.
You concerned about the drops, and what can you do to improve that part of his game?
Whose drops?
Amari's.
Yeah, Amari's demonstrated that he can be a very productive player at this level. You see him run routes against good corners in this league and have production, running quick stuff, running intermediate stuff, and running stuff down the field. You see him make contested catches. You see him run with the ball after the catch. You see a lot of really positive things. There's no such thing as a perfect player. Hopefully we'll get him in here and try to create an environment for him where we can bring out his best in every aspect of his game.
What's this morning that he'd be in this afternoon? Have you met with him yet, or is he here?
I have not. He arrived, I think, about 1:30. He's going to get his physical. He should be over here later this afternoon.
What's the biggest challenge in getting him up to speed and knowing your offense over the next couple?
Just that. Just getting him up to speed, and so many of the offenses around the league are very similar. And what you ask players to do, the biggest thing is the language and the nuances and the details that are different here than they are any other place that he has been. So try to get him going as quickly as we can with the intellectual and the mental part of the game, understand where to line up, what the words mean, what the numbers mean, all of that, and then get him out on the practice field and get working together with the rest of our guys.
No concerns at all about a concussion. I guess he was on the practice field with the Raiders yesterday before that.
Yeah, that's not an issue in our minds.
You went through this before with Roy Williams, bringing him in. Is there anything you draw on from those days as sort of the experience of getting a guy incorporated?
I think they're unique experiences. We bring players in all the time. There's new players coming in all throughout training camp. There's obviously new players coming in at different times during the year when you have injury, when you're bringing in a new draft class. There's a lot of new players that turn over from year to year on your team. So you're constantly teaching guys things. You're teaching them quickly. You're trying to get them up to speed as quickly as you can and get them acclimated in an environment where they can be productive. So this will be no different.
Do you keep him at one spot to learn one spot first, or how do you?
We're having those discussions right now about how he fits. The biggest thing is get him in here and get him up on the board, get him watching tape, get him out on the practice field, and just simply get him going. He certainly has a physical capability of playing on either side, strong side or weak side, playing inside. He's capable of doing whatever we could ask him. We just got to get him moving in that direction in our offense as quickly as we can.
How does a guy like that help Dak in the passing game?
He's an explosive outside receiver, and I think that helps everybody. The more weapons you have to attack the defense, the better it is for everybody. They can't focus in on one aspect of your team, one guy on your team. So isolated coverage outside, hopefully we feel like he's capable of winning. And if he draws attention, that certainly opens up opportunities for other people.
The running game, especially, obviously Washington did a good job stacking the run and stopping Zeke. I think that will open up things back in the running game.
Yeah, again, it all starts with run and pass. being able to attack the defense different ways. And the more effective you are throwing the ball, the more attention defenses have to give to that. That opens up running lane opportunities. And when they are loading up the box, there are big plays opportunities outside if you have the guys who can make those plays.
First round pick is obviously a premium asset. What were your discussions that led you to say, well, this is worth making this investment, given that this is a first round pick and we know how much that means? And doesn't that mean that you expect an immediate return on investment?
Well, I think the first part of it is he's a young player. He's 24 years old. He has all the physical traits you want. He has all the intangible character qualities that you want. He has production in the league. So you say, okay, when you're drafting this position, this guy is like a draft pick. This guy was the top 5 draft pick. If you're in the draft next year, are you going to be able to get a player of this quality at this position? Our scouts look ahead. They understand what the draft class is all about. So when you put all of those factors together, it's really something that fits well with what we've done in the past. We feel like he's the kind of guy that we've drafted in the first round over the last few years. These building block players who we think are going to be here for a long time. We feel like he fits into that mode and maybe in some ways is less risky because he has production at the NFL level. We've seen him play against guys at this level and have success.
Along those lines, how surprised are you to see a player of that caliber available?
Sometimes players like this become available for a lot of different reasons. Hard for me to know what the thought process is in Oakland. They're trying to build the team the way they want to build it. We do know that he was available, and Stephen spoke to their people, and we worked out a deal that we were comfortable with and excited to bring him on board.
When did you come? I know Richard McKenzie was saying Stephen called on Friday and then called back on Monday. You said you leave a lot of that to them, but when did it get to the stage where you came in and it started actually getting to the point of the discussion of, okay, how much do we like this guy and what would we be willing to give up to do it and what makes sense for us?
I don't want to get into too many details, but we had those conversations last week, and we evaluated him last week.
What's the key for Dak to building a connection with a new receiver in the middle of the season?
I think just simply that, build a connection. That's one of the best things that Dak does. He has such a great way about him, the way he works with so many different people on our team, young guys, older guys, guys at different positions, guys on either side of the ball. He just does that very naturally, as well as anybody I've been around. And for a quarterback and receiver connection to develop, it's just time on task and communication throughout that whole process. This is what we do. This is how we run it. This is the angle I want you to come out of it like this. All of that stuff, and he's very good at that. Dak is, and don't anticipate that being a problem. I know Amari's excited to be here, and he's excited to get going. Those guys will work well together.
Have you had a chance to talk to Dak since this, and does it? I know the team here is not here as a group after Thursday, but has it altered his plans that you know of these guys getting together and working a little bit on their own?
Yeah, we haven't spoken specifically about how his schedule is going to be altered, but suffice it to say they're going to spend a lot of time together here the next week or so.
Beyond Thursday, so they'll break from Thursday to next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Again, I don't want to get into the specifics of that, but we talked about that idea, and we benefit from the fact that it is a bye, so there is extra time to do that. Amari with the coaches and Amari with Dak, and really do everything we can over the next few days to get on the same page.
Amari's coordinators in Oakland are guys that have a lot of experience with Scott. Is that something that you think can give him the leg up in getting acclimated with this offense?
Well, again, we had a lot of due diligence of people who have been around Amari. Obviously, Coach Saban at Alabama, spoken to him extensively about Amari, really when he came out in the draft, when we were spending time on Calvin Ridley coming out this year, and then again in this past week. And really similarly with the guys in Oakland who Scott knows, work with very directly. Their input on Amari was helpful in this whole process, doing our due diligence. And then I do think there is a comfort level that he'll have coming in here with this offense. I don't know about the language. I don't know the details of that, but I don't think he'll have a hard time picking things up and getting acclimated quickly. It's just the time on task, working with our guys. That's really what you're catching up on as much as anything else.
You were with Gruden in Tampa, so you know that offense a little bit in their language. Is there similarities in the language or the schemes and how you guys do it and what he has done in the past?
Yeah, I mean, there were probably some similar things from a language standpoint. But again, I think the biggest thing is come in here with a clean slate, with an open mind, understand how we do things, spend a lot of time together talking through things, not only the basics of it, but the details and the nuances of it, and really doing everything we can to communicate and over-communicate. That's really in these situations how you pick things up as quickly as possible. And all hands on deck, coaches, players, everybody's going to try to help him do that, and he's certainly motivated to do that as well.
You said you've talked to Cooper, you said he's excited. Can you just, what, this first start excites him? What about those conversations can you share with us?
Yeah, he's just excited to get going. And, again, we've heard so many positive things about him, his love of football and wanting to be part of something special. And I just feel like he's excited to come here and get acclimated with our team and get to know our guys and get playing football with the Cowboys. And he expressed that on the phone with me yesterday.
Maybe a player like this will allow Scott to be a little bit more aggressive in the passing game with Dak. Because as you said, you have some extra firepower now.
Yeah, obviously, whenever you add a player who you think can help you attack the defense, I think that's good for everybody, and hopefully we can continue to try to do that. Scott's typically been very aggressive throughout his career as a play caller. I think, if you look back at what he's done here and elsewhere, I think that bears itself out. But the more weapons you have, the better everybody is. We feel like Amari can really help our team.
How does this impact the approach you take during the bye week? Because you've always talked before about how you step back and take more of a macro view and see what works, what doesn't. But now you're adding an element in as well. Does it alter how you kind of go about these next 10 days or the next 6 or 7 days as you look at things?
Well, we'll do a lot of self-scout of what we've done here the first 7 games and all aspects of our team. We'll take a critical look at everything and decide what we think is good and what hasn't been good and what we want to continue to build on. So we'll do that independent of any of the personnel additions. But certainly when you talk about practice tomorrow and on Thursday, when we get into it next week, you want to make sure you maximize the opportunity, and you want to make sure that you within the confines of what you want to do as a team, give Dak and Amari an opportunity to get to know each other as well as you can based on how you do stuff in the individual periods or in the team periods throughout practice. So we'll try to do that here in the next couple of days, and again, they'll spend some more time together before we reconvene next week.
You've always talked about urgency being the same regardless, but is there anything about a big move like this and the timing of it where you all are record-wise that does anything about that urgency going forward?
Again, I think the sense of urgency is always high. It has to be high in our business. It's competitive each and every day. So we always believe in instilling that in our team. And, we're excited to have Amari come in, and we're excited to embrace practice tomorrow, clean up the stuff from the game, and get moving forward.
Is this a complex offense to pick up when you're coming in midstream, or do you think it's because of the numbered system it allows a receiver to learn faster?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of aspects of it that I think are very user-friendly for someone coming in quickly. Again, a lot of playing well has to do with detail and nuance and all of the things that underlie the system as it's written on a page. So that's the stuff that we really got to delve in on. I don't think he's going to have a hard time picking things up in terms of formations and play calls and all of that. The biggest thing is time on task, really getting to know each other intimately so we can play the game at a high level.
How does this impact the other receivers that are still here? With Gallup, Hearn?
Yeah, haven't made any decisions on that. Obviously, it improves the competition at the position, and everybody's going to be scratching and clawing for snaps and opportunities, and we think that's good for our team.
Geoff Swaim's injury.
Jeff hurt his knee, and he's getting an MRI today, and hopefully it bears itself out where it's shorter rather than longer. Don't anticipate him practicing this week.
Indications are you're awaiting the MRI, but indications are it should be a shorter-term injury versus.
Yeah, again, shorter and longer is relative. He's not going to practice this week. Hopefully it's not too long.
As you look back at the game, is there anything you do over on that last drive before the field goal with the time, clock management, things like that?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I think we really handled from 4:55 on really, really well. When you think about being down 10 points, a situation like that, the first drive that we had to go score a touchdown, I thought was really handled very well. I thought Dak made a lot of really great decisions where he was able to make plays, and not only make plays but preserve time for us, and then to be able to cash that one in was big for us. And then give them the ball back, I think it was 137, be able to make the stops on defense, use the timeouts, and then they go out of bounds on the third down play. We preserve the last one, and then to be able to get it back with just over a minute and be able to do what we do, execute that, and to get down there and give us a really legitimate field goal opportunity. I thought we handled that really, really well. The execution by the quarterback was outstanding. Bees showed up big really throughout that drive and gave us a great opportunity to tie the game.
After the pass to Beasley with 52 seconds left, you had 2 passes in the field. It's not so much the 12 seconds left what you did. Were there opportunities to either press the ball more down the field to get into better, closer field goal range, or take a shot at the end zone?
Yeah, again, I thought those guys handled it really well. Those are big completions that we had to get us into a very manageable field goal situation. And one of the things I thought we did particularly well in that last 5 minutes was, so much of the game was marred by holding penalties. I think we had 3 or 4 penalties on our offensive line that put us in terrible down and distance situations that were hard to overcome. And we had sacks in the game. And I just thought those last 2 drives were really clean. And again, they protected well. Dak got the ball out of his hand. Guys made plays around him. And, Bees came up big on that last drive with making a number of big plays for us to put us in that situation. So I thought those guys handled it great.
This snap infraction, can you just talk about that? If you sent that into the league, was it any different than he had been doing throughout the game, even on the final kick?
Yeah, again, I don't like to get into the officiating too much, but just to answer your questions, we did send that into the league along with some other things like we typically would. The league gives you an opportunity to do that, so we'll see what they say on those, and just want to handle it the right way and see what their thinking was on those plays.
Do you notice any difference in how he handled it on the first field goal attempt versus what he did at the end?
No.
So there's really nothing for LP to fix or try to fix?
Yeah, LP will handle that situation exactly like he did in the game. There's nothing to change.
Do you rate the play of your offensive line just overall in the game?
We didn't play well enough. We couldn't get the running game going as well as we would have liked to. And again, there were some minus plays in the passing game, whether it's sacks or penalties, that really put us behind the chains. So we didn't play consistently well enough in the game. At times, I thought we did some good things. Those last couple of drives, I thought we protected well. We blocked them well. I thought we did a really good job giving us opportunities to score the touchdown and then give us the field goal chance on the final drive. But overall, over the course of 60 minutes, we didn't do a good enough job up front.
Is Tyron Smith healthy? Is he having any going or anything? Is he moving as well as he?
Tyron's healthy, yes.
I don't want to generalize too much, but almost halfway through the season, especially on the road, a lot of these problems have looked similar. Carolina, Washington. Is there anything more you can do other than just execute better? Obviously.
Yeah, we have to do a better job, and we're always looking at ourselves as coaches first, the position we're putting our players in, and how we can maximize that. And then obviously it comes down to the responsibility of the player to execute the right way. We've had some communication issues in the past on the road. That really wasn't the case in this game. There was nothing glaring that said we were late off the snap count or we weren't going to the right guy. Some of those things that were some issues earlier on. We just didn't play as well as we needed to on a consistent basis. Now, there are plenty of plays where each of the guys played very well, blocked their guy, both in the run game and pass game, but as a group, over the course of 60 minutes, we didn't play at a high enough level.
There were more breakdowns, especially in the offensive line in this game, that can't be directed back to communication than there were in those first 3 road games. This was more about just getting beat or just doing the wrong thing at that particular moment.
Yeah, again, it comes down to doing your job and executing, and we didn't do a consistently good enough job of that really throughout. The running game was not as productive as it's been. I think we're among the better rushing teams in the league. Zeke is among the best rushers in the league. That's been a pretty consistent thing for us throughout the year. It certainly wasn't in the game yesterday. And we didn't do enough in the passing game to make sure that they paid for their attention they were given to the running game. And we did make some explosive plays in the passing game. There were a lot of positives, more positive than there's been, but there were some negatives. There were some negative plays, both in terms of the penalties and the sacks, that really got us behind the chains and made it hard to maintain rhythm for most of the game. Now, the last 5 minutes, I thought we played very well up front, very well in the passing game. Guys made a lot of plays. To have the touchdown drive, to have the opportunity to kick the game-tying field goal, those are very good plays. I think there were 14 or 16 plays at the end that you feel good about. But over the course of 60 minutes, it wasn't to the level that we needed to be.
20-10, and does Washington change anything they do defensively? That what they've done?
Not necessarily.
What's the challenge going forward? Because like you say, you have a lot to incorporate Cooper in, and so you're obviously going to emphasize the passing game, but you don't want to neglect where you are in the running game, especially coming off a performance like that. How do you balance all that to work on the things you need to work on without deteriorating in another area?
I think you just do that. I think you balance it. I think you're mindful of that. We've got to understand the kind of team we want to be offensively. We want to attack defenses different ways. That starts with run and pass. And like I said, we've been a good rushing football team for most of this year, among the better rushing teams in the league. So we have to make sure we reestablish that, work on that here the next couple of days, and certainly leading up to the Tennessee game. And then again, certainly improve our passing game, and the addition of Amari Cooper can help us.
Any other injuries come out of the game? I know Zach played through a knee.
Yeah, Zach hurt his knee. Don't anticipate him practicing here the next couple days. C.J. Goodwin broke his forearm and is going to have surgery this afternoon on that. So hopefully that comes out favorably, and we'll see what his timetable is to return. Can't think of anybody else off the top of my head.
Leighton, Vanders.
I think he's going to be fine.
Is anything about the trade a sign that you guys are going for it, so to speak? That even at 3-4, where you are, what you've been able to do on the road, that this is it an all-in kind of move? Without suggesting you weren't all in before making this kind of move.
Yeah, I think we're always all in, and we like our football team. We have a young football team, and we're growing with each experience that we've had. We've done some good things over the course of the first 7 games. Obviously not good enough. We haven't been good enough on the road. We're trying to address an issue on our team, but more than that, we're trying to bring a player in who we think fits in with the kind of cornerstone players that we have for now and for the future at a position we think can really help us. So I think it fits with what we've been trying to build here the last few years, and it's a move that can help us here in 2018 and for the future as well. So we're excited about bringing Amari in and excited about this team. And we've got to learn from our experiences and keep moving forward.
Do you still feel, even with what's happened through these first 7 games, that you're positioned to accomplish what your goals to accomplish were entering this season, that you may not be in the best position, but you haven't really hurt yourself or dug yourself too big of a hole to this point?
Yeah, everything's in front of us. We have to obviously go to work. We have to get better, and we'll focus on each day of practice leading up to each game each week, and take everything one play at a time, one day at a time, one game at a time, and just focus on ourselves and trying to get better.
You were asked about the Roy Williams trade in 08. Why didn't that work out as you look back on it? Clearly, it's a big price you paid for it, for him to come in and never really panned out.
Yeah, I probably don't want to revisit that right now. Really just focused on this team right now, what we need to do to make this team the best it can be.
Thank you.
All right. Good to see you guys.